Okay, guys, so following on from the reporting workshop that was this morning, which was super tight, and I'll be implementing that as soon as possible. One of the questions came around call grading, and there's a couple of ways you can do that, and a couple of ways that we're doing this, which is slightly different. So we use HighLevel for everything. We don't use call rail or anything like that, but same concept applies. Basically, what we're doing on the basic level is a form is filled, a Facebook lead, a survey, whatever comes in. Okay, and what we'll do is clear the grading, remove any tags, and then we're just using this AI function here, which basically says, here's everything that's coming in. Give me an A, B, C, or a D. A being amazing and timely and everything else. B is going to be most common. C is unsure. D is rubbish. Ignore it, unsubscribe it, whatever else. And then give it the criteria and everything else, and you can dynamically fill in here the company details, the company location, all of that kind of stuff. So it will know, is it 45 minutes away drive? Is it other side of the country? And so it's really flexible in here as far as grading forms that come in, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, and then what we're doing is updating a field with that record. So it'll just update lead grade with an A, right, with that response. We're also labeling the opportunity with that as well, and so what it does is puts the lead grade at the start, and so when you look at your opportunities board, you can see here's D's, you can just drag them to abandon, all that kind of stuff, and then tagging them as well, and you can do lots of different stuff here. So that's the really basic version, and that's for forms. Now the calls are a little bit more tricky because the transcription part of the call is not actually available natively, which I requested on their changelog. But basically what we're doing is we had to build out a bit of an app just to get the call transcript, but then everything else is really easy. Okay, so with the way that this works is we have a phone call with someone. So this is my agency account calling a prospect. Had a phone call here which was more than a minute long, and so it saves that and transcribes it and sends it back. And so over the left hand side here you can see background, and this is kind of like a master summary of everything that we've spoken about, and it updates every interaction. So after every meeting or every call, this will keep updating, so we've got a constant log of the company. And this is so detailed that they probably don't have this much detail about their own company, but which allows us to do a lot of other stuff. But you can see here meeting transcript, which is straightforward. This is from Fathom or Otter or whatever meeting tool you're using, which is zapped in. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward as well. But here's call transcript, and so this is the same thing. We're just basically getting the call taken care of out of the system and brought back in. So if we look at the transcript here, they're actually really terrible, right? Like, Skylar, could I be intimidate from contract Skylar? Like, how are you doing? I'm like, what does that even mean? And what I actually said was, good day, Ben. Cameron here from Contractor Scale. How are you doing? Okay, so this is almost unusable. It's that bad. And if they just improved this and then allowed you to save it, it would have so many issues solved. But basically what we're doing here is super techy, and I'm sure that there's probably easier ways to do this. But basically we had to create a marketplace app in the API or the app section, which is this one. And then what we're doing is we've got a database or a table of the files. And so it's kind of grabbing the file. Once the call is recorded, it triggers and it sends that file over to DeepGram, which is the next one. And it basically grabs the audio file, transcribes it, and then sends it back to HighLevel to put it into that same contact field. So we kind of need a few things here to tie it together. We need this database of all that structured data. Then we've got DeepGram, which was a little bit more simple to use rather than OpenAI's version. And you could do it through Zapier, or maybe not Zapier, but N8N or Make or whatever else. And this is just another tool like that called trigger.dev. It's kind of like a little bit more techy version of N8N or Make or whatever else. So basically you can see call recording and all this other stuff. So this is the hard part of actually getting the call data, and there's going to be some easy ways to do that, I'm sure. And I'm almost certain that they'll improve this and make it available. So there's no point in creating something custom because they'll just replace you with it. But once you've got this in here as the call transcript, you can do anything you want with it. Okay. So what we actually did is created a field in the contact section up above. Just don't want to kind of open that up with all the details in there. But basically you can type in anything you want and it will generate a note on the right hand side. And so for example, one of the things that I did was wrote into this free text field, based off our last phone call, give me a follow-up email to send confirming everything we spoke about, pains, fears, desires, all that kind of thing. And it actually drafts the email up for you on the right hand side to then copy and paste in here. Okay. It also allows you to kind of do anything you want, right? So you could come in here and you could do another workflow, which would be, and I'll show you the manual input one in a second. Cool. So now we're using the manual input one here. When the contact is changed, which is that free text input field is changed, then run it through here with basically, you are interacting with a CRM data of a specific content, instructions, here's the input, and then use below only if relevant, which has then got background, ideal customer profile, last meeting transcript, last call transcript. And we're using the full transcript and not a summary because it actually gives you more information. And then it returns that data clears this field here to make sure that it's empty for the next time you want to use it, and just saves it as a note, right? You just put that response as a note. So you could do anything you want from here, whether it's a follow-up, whether it's grading, whether it's, analyze the sentiment of this phone call and provide a grading of it. Is it a positive intent? Is it a negative intent? Is it an ABCD? Is it a whatever? And one of the others that we're doing is actually grading the sales ability of the owner as well. So when they call, we're grading the call and going, hey, you could actually improve a lot. Here's how you could improve, because that was a C, or that was a terrible call. So much you can do with it, so much flexibility, but you just need to have the raw data there, which is either from a meeting on Zoom or it's from a phone call. And just getting that phone call data is kind of the piece that makes this whole thing work. So hope that makes sense. Let me know if you've got any questions, and happy to help.